We go. Hi and welcome to Cryptohuntress. It's so lovely to meet you.
Hi, thank you.
Whereabouts in the world are you?
I am near Seattle, Washington in the US.
Oh, fantastic. I used to live in California, in San Francisco.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool. Now, we've welcomed you here today so that you can tell us all about your experience with cryptocurrency. So let's just get right in there. How long have you been involved with the cryptocurrency scene?
So I started mining Bitcoin a few years ago. My husband came home super excited because he saw these things called Bitcoin miners on sale on Newegg, and he asked me if I knew what Bitcoin was. I was a little familiar with it, so we started talking about it. We decided to buy some Bitcoin miners and see what happened.
So you actually started mining because you just found some Bitcoin miners and you brought it home. Now, I've actually never seen one because I don't know anything about mining. So what does it look like?
Well, the first ones we got were Antminer S4s. So they were just these massive black boxes with giant fans on the front and back and a little screen, and you sort of just plugged them in and connected them to the internet, and they were off and running. They were really easy to use. You didn't need separate power supplies or anything like that. You just flipped them on and they started mining Bitcoin.
And how many? No, it was easier back then. So you presumably made more Bitcoin at the beginning, did you?
Yeah, the difficulty was lower, and then the block payouts were higher back then. So as you know, Bitcoin it reduces by half every about 4 years. So originally, when you were mining Bitcoin, you would receive the block payouts for like 50 Bitcoin for a block. I was not mining then. That would have been amazing.
Pity you weren't mining then, right?
Yeah. When we started mining Bitcoin, the rewards were 25 Bitcoin per block. But of course, you only got a fraction of that because most people mine in mining pools. They pool their power collectively, so you just got a fraction of the payouts. But now it's 12 and a half, so it is a lot harder to earn as much Bitcoin now.
Oh my goodness. But now, so the technology's changed, so the mining gigs have changed. Do you still mine at home?
I do. I don't have them running right this second because there were some electrical problems in my house.
Well, that's one of the issues, isn't it? They take so much electricity and power to run these things now.
Yeah, they really do. But that is the newer miners try to be a little more energy efficient. Like the S4.
Yeah.
You really can't even run it unless you have free electricity because the costs are astronomical. But now they're on to the S9 or something, and it makes a little more sense to run.
Oh my God. Okay. So has how did you ever buy anything other than mine at the beginning? Or have you ever bought anything since? So where are you at now? Where's your Bitcoin journey?
There was a point in time over the summer where I decided to try buying some. So I had this really old Coinbase account, and I finally bought a little bit of Ethereum on Coinbase, and so I tried that.
Okay, and how does that feel?
Otherwise I just trade with them, with coins I mined. So.
Okay. So, but you say you trade. So, okay, help me out here, because, I know maybe a little bit what you mean, but I know a lot of the people are going to watch this won't have a clue. She's like trading with the Bitcoin she mined, and a lot of people, incidentally, we should probably explain this. When we say Bitcoin mining, and they're going to be in a computer, what does that mean? So we need to explain, maybe as you obviously do this, so explain, why did they even come up with the word mining? Why is it called Bitcoin mine? Because obviously it has nothing to do with coal mines or anything. So where did they come from that? Where did they come up with that? Do you know?
That's a great question. I actually don't know, other than the fact that Satoshi Nakamoto designed it to be a finite supply. So maybe he was thinking about it in terms of gold mining or something similar to that.
Okay.
That's why they decided to name it mining, because really all it is the computer solving algorithms and using a lot of electricity to solve the algorithm.
Yeah. And you didn't need to know how to do it other than following the instructions about to set up this equipment. It's not like you were an algorithm geek.
That's exactly right.
That's
Nope,
incredible.
not at all. We just ordered this box and opened it up and plugged it in, and then there were these old Bitcoin talk forums, and they had step-by-step instructions for how to get it started. So we just followed
Wow.
instructions.
Amazing. But it's only Bitcoin you've mined though, right? You haven't mined anything else? Have you started mining
No,
other?
after a while, I got interested in other currencies and ant miners. They are Bitcoin specific. Like the algorithm that they use is only specific to Bitcoin and a couple of other currencies, primarily Bitcoin. So I did build a couple of GPU mining rigs that
Okay.
run off of different algorithms to mine other
Okay.
types of currency like Ethereum
Okay.
or Monero.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Monero, I think is going to be a good one. That's the privacy coins. That's the hot one. Um,
Yes. Yeah, that's a great privacy coin.
yeah, exactly. And Ethereum is the workhorse, I think I would say, in the crypto world. So, so are you? So now you did say that you're trading your Bitcoin for stuff. So are you trading it for other cryptos, or are you? What are you? Or are you just trading it? When you said you're trading it, I was confused. You're not hodling it then.
Yeah, so right. I've done some altcoin trading and participation in ICOs. It's a little different this year. The U.S. government switched, they switched things up on us a little bit in that for a while we were sort of operating in this gray area where if you traded one cryptocurrency for another, you could tell yourself it was a like-kind exchange, and so you weren't taxed on it.
It
But they
wasn't
just
for
released
income.
this tax bill on the first, and it was active starting the first of this year, where now anytime you trade from cryptocurrency to cryptocurrency, then that's still a taxable
Still
event, which
counts.
just makes a giant headache. So I haven't played with it since then, but
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
in the past it was pretty easy to just use exchanges and trade Bitcoin for other coins that you hoped took off a little faster. So
Yep. 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 So what year did you say you started? How long ago was it now?
um, it was in about 2014.
So that was the year that Mount Gox crashed, isn't it? Isn't that the year that the exchange lost all the millions of
I
dollars?
think Mount Gox crashed in about 2013 because we were
Oh,
coming in
before.
just after the crash. I
Okay.
specifically remember that because I had heard about Bitcoin back in 2011 or 2012, and at the time it was worth barely anything. So when I asked my husband, yeah, what's a Bitcoin worth these days? He said, well, it just crashed, so it's only like $200 now. And I was like, wait, what?
Ah!
Yeah, we should probably get on this.
Oh my goodness. So see that's like a story I heard the other day about I can't remember Decreed or something Decreed whatever coin it is, and some guy had actually got into Bitcoin, got out of Bitcoin, but he kept this one very unusual thing, and he just forgotten all about it, and then he sort of thought, I wonder what it's, and it was like thousands of pounds or dollars. I think it was an American chap, and then he actually had enough money to start looking into it seriously, and then he started buying other coins and having always liked the idea, but it moved because it flatlined. Bitcoin flatlined for so long, didn't a lot of people just got out? They were like,
Yeah, I
what's the
think
point?
so.
Yeah. So you got your timing right there. So you got in when it just started to move a little bit, which was inspiring. And okay, so the question is, you've obviously mined quite a few. You won't ask how many. So what do you hope to do with your Bitcoin now? I mean, are you holding on to it for the future? Are you buying things with it, apart from maybe a little bit of playing with trading? What do you hope to do with it? What's it doing for you in your life?
Yeah, well, I'm really looking forward to the day when Bitcoin is accepted on a massive scale, and when I can use it sort of for my everyday life and purchases and things like that. And I think we're not too far off from that. So I'm sort of holding on to it for that. I actually used to live in Japan, and in Japan they were a little more ahead in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
area, and so I did spend Bitcoin quite a bit. I would keep some on my bread wallet, my hot wallet on my phone, and any
Yeah.
place that Bitcoin was accepted, I would use it there. So
Oh, now this you're the person to ask about this. Now this whole wallet thing. Okay, so it's interesting. So, because how do you keep it safe? That's the biggest problem, isn't it? I mean, presumably offline. Is that where hard wallet? Is that where you keep most of your stuff?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I cannot recommend hard wallets more. I mean, they're just so important. If you're going to have any significant amount of money into Bitcoin or any significant amount of any cryptocurrency, it needs to be on a hard wallet.
And then, but I worry about the safety of the hard wallets. So, I mean, what do? Lock them up in 10 different houses, 10 different safes? You bury them in a garden? I mean, how does
Well,
one?
the nice thing about the hard wallet is that it doesn't actually hold any of your cryptocurrency, right? It just holds your private keys. And
Yeah.
so that's just keeping your keys safe. As long as you have that recovery code, you can always access it even if you lose the wallet or it becomes damaged or something like that. So for me personally, I keep the recovery code somewhere safe, and then I have copies of it in other safe places.
Okay, so you spread it about in safe places. Yeah, exactly. And then for sort of every day, so you use a bread wallet for like every day, just kind of having a little bit.
Right. So I have a little bit of cryptocurrency, yeah, on my Bread Wallet, which is just a hot wallet app that's on my phone, but that also allows you to hold your private keys, which of course makes it completely different from an exchange and sometimes even some other wallets. You want to hold the private keys, otherwise they're not your coins. So
that's so to newbies going out there, Bread Wallet's a good place to start, and then
I like Bread Wallet right now. It's Bitcoin specific, but I think they're trying to make updates to that. Jax is another one that's pretty good that is not Bitcoin specific. It's got a ton of currencies that it supports.
So Jax is multi-currency. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to be, I've got a website and I'm going to be putting up all the information. It's available everywhere, but I'm just going to put, hints and tips from people like yourself, and because we can all go read the 10 types of wallet, but it's nice to have some personal references on the subject. Okay. So obviously, have people thought you were crazy in your life when you said you were mining Bitcoin before? Did they think you were bonkers? Have you had any of that kind of thing happen?
Well, honestly, we didn't have to explain it that much because people would come into my house and they would see, actually had a bathroom full of Bitcoin miners, and it was the downstairs guest bathroom. So people did wonder what was going on in there. They're quite loud. They produce a lot of heat. There was actually a funny story where just after I had my last baby, we did a photo shoot and the photographer came to our house and she asked if we had a white noise machine or someplace warm where we could take pictures with the baby so she would stay asleep right next to the Bitcoin miners. Worked like a charm. It was perfect.
People don't live in Alaska because you'd be good for heating the house, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was all we used in the wintertime. But most people who walked in would ask what they were, and we said, oh, it's just computer equipment. It would be too much to explain. Yeah. And they would say, oh, so is that like for your husband's video games or something? And I just said, yeah, sure.
So you didn't, and now it's starting to become public knowledge. I mean, probably in the last year, it started to become a household word. Now do people kind of go, wow, you are amazing, how incredible? Or I mean, how's the reaction been?
Yeah, I think it mostly came from family members who did know what we were doing and thought we were really weird at the time. And now they're like, oh, that's what you were doing. Explain this to me.
Yeah. How incredible. And then so I've got to ask, so what's your take on the value of Bitcoin long term? I mean, you hear Ronnie Moore says 100K within 4 years. A few other people say the sky's the limit. Other people, so what's your feeling?
Oh gosh. I don't really make price predictions for the most part because I'm more interested in how blockchain technology and Bitcoin can change the world. And the more people are using Bitcoin and the more unbanked individuals can suddenly be banked and have access to currency, then the price is going to go up along with that. But the really cool thing is that we're going to be able to bank the unbanked. So.
Yeah, and so you're what I call a genuine Bitcoiner. I mean, you believe. I mean, you are. There are real believers in blockchain technology, and they look at the ethos of blockchain and everything. And Bitcoin is part of that, as opposed to the speculators who have just taken it on a nice ride, haven't they? Up and
right. Yeah, and I mean, and that's fine too. It's definitely exciting, but I think, like you were saying earlier, that I got in at a good time because the value had started to go up. I definitely rode out my fair share of crashes, and I think the reason that most people who started in 2011, 2012 were able to ride out all of those crashes is because they do believe in what Bitcoin can do for the world.
believe,
So.
yeah, looking at the bigger picture, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's probably enough of your time. You've been awfully generous giving us this. I guess last thing, any tips for if you were someone wanting to get started in crypto today? Obviously mining might be a little trickier now because of the costs and the heat and everything. And so if they can't mine, what would be your advice to a newbie wanting to get into the space today?
Well, right now you sort of have roadblocks because there are only so many currencies that you can buy from whatever your country's currency is. So for most cryptocurrency exchanges, the places where you get them, only lists a handful like Bitcoin or Ethereum. So start there, and then there are a lot of great, really small market cap coins out there that have the potential to grow pretty quickly, but it's really hard to weed through all of the noise, like really hard. There are a lot of people talking about why everything is the next Bitcoin. So it's honestly, it's a lot of research and maybe having some good friends who split the research up with you. And
well, that's a really good idea. So sort of like, you've got 10 potential maybe ICOs or something, and you're all doing the research and looking between you 2, 3 each, because it takes a lot of time, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah. And there are a couple of good people out there who do spreadsheets. I don't always agree with all of them, but like Ian Bellina is a guy on YouTube who has spreadsheets that he sort of rates them, and you can see his thought process on it. And while I might not agree on every single one, I like that it's super transparent. And there are a couple of other resources that you can use like that to sort of try and weed through the noise. But yeah, you can't always. It used to be that there were maybe 30 ICOs in a month, and now there's at least 30 a day. So it's hard to keep track and find all the good ones.
It's really insane. I know. So that's brilliant. Thank you. I really, really can't thank you enough for coming on here. And it's I didn't actually say your name again. Is it Tanya? Tanya? How do you pronounce it?
Tana.
Tana. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's because is it American, the name, or is it from somewhere else? It's an unusual name.
It's Spanish. It's a hand-me-down name from my mother's side. Yeah.
Really, it's really unusual, and I'm like, oh, is that how you pronounce that? Thank you so much for your time, and
thank you.
Yeah, I wish you the best of luck. I don't think you're going to need it. It sounds like you've sorted yourself out really well. So I've got to now go and start now. I've got to go and build up my crypto portfolio. I've only got a little bit of a few things, but you've got to start somewhere, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much. Now I'm going to say goodbye and wish you good luck, and we'll see you around, okay?
Great. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.
Okay, I think that has managed to do that.